Dude, wake up.
Yo, what up?
So I just finished reading The Power of One, and I have this nagging question on my mind. Well, it's not really a question, it's more of an issue I want to explore within the book.
Okay, what is it? I want to know.
Well, calm down, dude. It's about the discrimination and brutality that so many characters faced in the book.
Oh yeah, I feel so bad for BK because of all the persecution he faced that he didn't deserve. For example, in the boarding school, the judge and his classmates harassed PK in many ways. They peed on him in the showers, they made fun of his snakehead, and even threatened to make him their first prisoner of war after Hitler took over. Worst of all, the judge took away PK's closest friend, Grandpa Choke.
I know, I can't believe someone would do that. Plus all the verbal harassment that PK faced because he couldn't control his bladder.
And all this happened just because PK was an Englishman?
I know, it's so bad. PK faced this discrimination throughout the entire book. He was always ranked lower on the social ladder because of his ancestry.
PK wasn't the only character that was mistreated in the book, though.
Oh yeah, in the Barbican jail, Clip-Clop mistreated an African prisoner because of his race. Clip-Clop thought the prisoner stole the biscuits out of his office, so he started to beat him up. In the end, Lieutenant Smith admitted that he had consumed the biscuits. This just shows that the Afrikaners quickly make assumptions because of races. And here's another example of Afrikaners' racial prejudice. Do you remember when Maury was excluded from the deal with Goldenhuis because he was Jewish?
Yeah, why should Maury's culture stop him from participating in a strictly business-related deal?
I think it was unfair how Goldenhuis treated Maury because Maury is a human being just like Goldenhuis is. Every human being should be treated the same way, don't you think so?
Yeah, every human being should be treated the same. But I don't think you understand, David. The setting of the book is in South Africa, and it was a norm for different races and religions to be treated differently.
That is sickening, although I can understand why it's such a big problem.
Yes, it is because of the Boer War. Back in the 17th century, both the English and the Dutch began to colonize South Africa. They created a mutual agreement to stay away from each other, but when the diamonds were discovered in the north, the English launched an invasion which sparked the Boer Wars.
Oh yeah, now I remember. There ensued a series of ruthless battles which led to the resentment felt by both sides. Once the Afrikaner National Party rose to power in 1948, they wanted a way to maintain their domination, and thus apartheid was born. All aspects of life became separate for the different races, and discrimination became the norm.
Well, that would explain why we see so much hostility towards other races in The Power of One. This reminds me of a couple more situations where we see the discrimination in the book. Do you remember when Lieutenant Borman beat Geo Pete to death because he caught Geo Pete with the letters?
Oh yeah, I remember that part in the book. It was an awful situation. Since Joe Pete is a Cape-Colored man, he did not receive much respect in the Barberton prison. Mr. Borman should have reported to Lieutenant Smith that Geo Pete had a letter operation going, instead of just brutally murdering him.
Well, on the flip side, Borman received his punishment. We shall thank Lieutenant Smith and the Barberton Blues for that. But before we wrap up this discussion, I want to briefly talk about the author Bryce McCourtney and what he meant by the power of one.
I think Bryce Courtney was trying to tell us that life is going to have obstacles in the way, but it is ultimately the strengths inside a person that is going to get them around that obstacle.
Oh, are you referring to PK and all the struggles he went through in the book?
Yeah, and how he had the strength to overcome them. Not only did he defeat obstacles in the book, but he did it by his own will.
I don't think I'm understanding this quite right. Could you give me an example?
Sure. When PK faced repression from the judge at his first boarding school, well, he didn't reach out for help. He focused on his own independence and relied on himself to get through the struggles.
Do you think that Bryce McCourtney wants us to recognize that we all have some power inside each of us to accomplish things we never thought were possible?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I believe that we all have something deep inside of us that fuels our independence and helps us achieve things individually.
I would agree. What about when Maury offered to pay for PK's college tuition to Oxford? PK simply denies it because he wants to accomplish life without any necessary help. Then PK goes off to the mines to be a grizzly worker to test his inner strength and whether he could actually continue to challenge himself in life.
Yeah. Another good question would be, what do you think Bryce Courtney wants us to take away from this book?
Good question, David. I think Bryce McCourtney wants to put emphasis on how big a problem racial discrimination really is. Not only is it a problem in the United States, but it can also be a problem in places all around the world. Well, David, this discussion really helped us both understand this book a little bit better, don't you think?
Sure, whatever you say, Dylan.